I thought my sister and I would protect Mom's future together, until I discovered her fingerprints all over Mom's dwindling bank account. The hospital corridor felt colder than I remembered. Sterile lights glowed overhead as I clutched my mother's insurance card and shuffled through a thick folder of her medical paperwork. Hours earlier, my phone buzzed with the news I never expected. A massive stroke had put Mom in intensive care. As her eldest child, I was thrust into the role of medical proxy, and as I would soon discover, financial guardian. Mom had always been meticulous with her savings. Since Dad's passing 5 years ago, she tightened her belt, tucked every extra penny into her account, and called it her retirement fund. My sister Claire had helped at times, paying a bill here, dropping off groceries there, but Claire had never handled the account itself. I stepped into Mom's neat apartment 2 nights later, the smell of lavender and old books hanging in the air. I flipped on the kitchen light and paused at the sight of Mom's checkbook on the countertop. Every entry aligned with the bank statements I had loaded onto my laptop, except 4 glaring withdrawals, each for several $1,000s, dated over the past 3 months. My heart pounded. Mom's savings had fallen by nearly $20,000. My mind drilled through possibilities. An emergency I didn't know about? A financial scam? But the withdrawals had been made at ATMs near my sister's apartment. And each time, Claire had called Mom right after, claiming she forgot her debit card or couldn't reach her. The perfect setup, if someone wanted cover. I sank into a kitchen chair and opened the checkbook ledger. Sure enough, there were no corresponding checks, just cryptic ATM codes and those huge sums. I rifled through the drawer and found Claire's key to Mom's apartment. She'd been using it. I closed my eyes, the betrayal settling in my chest. That evening, I called my sister. Her voice on the phone was warm, as usual. "Hey, how's Mom doing?" "I'm heading over with her favorite soup." I forced myself to stay calm. "Claire, can you come over? I need to sort through Mom's bills. I'm handling her finances while she's hospitalized." She agreed without hesitation. When Claire arrived under the harsh hallway lights, she wore that practiced, concerned look. She hugged me and peeked at the checkbook. "I left your Mom's medical paperwork on the table," she said, feigning innocence. "Hope you don't mind." I smiled, though my face burned. "Thanks. Could you help me organize these statements?" She nodded and followed me to the living room. Minutes later, I slid the stack of bank statements across the coffee table. Claire picked the top one up and flipped through, brow furrowing. "Wow, these ATM withdrawals. So many on weekends. Is Mom traveling?" I watched her, heart thumping. "No, she's at the hospital," I said softly. She froze, eyes widening as she traced the dates. I leaned in. "Do you know what these are for?" Her cheeks blanched. She asked me to take out cash for bills. Doctor's fees she didn't want to show on insurance." I stared at her. "Mom has plenty in her account. She wouldn't need you to front her bills." Her gaze dropped. I didn't want her to worry about the stress. Panic laced her voice. "Isn't that why we're family?" My throat tightened. "What about worrying about her savings? This is our mother's future." She shook her head, tears forming. "I've been so scared. Seeing Mom alone. What if she runs out? I thought I'd protect her." I exhaled, fighting anger and pity. "Claire, you've withdrawn nearly $20,000 without telling me." She cried softly, covering her face. I wrapped an arm around her. "We need to fix this. For Mom's sake, we'll put the money back. Together." She nodded, shoulders shaking. The shame and relief in her eyes made my chest clench. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Claire's confession echoing in my mind. She'd stolen from Mom, but she wasn't a criminal mastermind. She was scared and alone. The coming days would be a whirlwind, negotiating payment plans with the bank, confronting Mom's financial advisor, and rebuilding trust with Claire. But worse still was the betrayal of the sister I thought I knew. Over the next morning's coffee, I drafted an email to Mom's bank manager under the online portal. Dear Ms. Chang, I am Sarah Reynolds, power of attorney for my mother, Margaret Reynolds. Account #xcont. I've noticed a series of ATM withdrawals over the last 3 months that I'd like to discuss. Please advise on the best way to verify these transactions and set up a restitution plan. Thank you for your assistance. Sarah Reynolds. My fingers hovered over send. I glanced at Claire, who watched me with taut hope. I hit send, determined to sort this out quickly, before our mother's life savings vanished completely. As I closed my laptop, Claire reached for my hand. Thank you for not calling the police. She squeezed my fingers. I'll do anything to make this right. I promise. I nodded. We'll get there. At the hospital that afternoon, I slipped the printed bank manager's reply into Mom's room, under the care team's watchful eyes, so she'd know her finances were secure. I wondered how she'd react when she awoke, discovering her daughters had handled her money and secrets. That night, I lay in bed, replaying every memory of our family. Mom's gentle laugh, Claire's mischievous grin, our childhood summer nights catching fireflies. The bond between sisters can be as fragile as a flickering flame. Now, it was up to me to decide whether to nurse it back to life or let it burn out altogether. Update 1. The bank manager's email arrived 2 days later while I was at Mom's bedside. Dr. Harris had just left, giving a cautious thumbs up at her vitals. Claire sat in the corner, fidgeting with her phone. I excused myself to read the note. Dear Ms. Reynolds, thank you for contacting us. We have flagged the account for review. Please schedule an appointment in person at our branch to verify the ATM withdrawals and discuss restitution arrangements. Bring any documentation you have. Sincerely, Linda Chang, Senior Account Manager, Pine Grove Bank. I showed the email to Claire. Her face bloomed with panic. We have to go, she said. I want to fix this. That afternoon, after arranging for Mom's nurse to sit with her, Claire and I drove to Pine Grove Bank. I rehearsed what to say, emphasize Mom's lack of capacity, show solidarity with Claire's plan to repay. Claire, white-knuckled at the wheel, kept apologizing under her breath. At the bank, we were led to a private conference room. Ms. Chang, a composed woman in her 50s, greeted us with a professional smile. She gestured at a stack of printed transaction logs. Ms. Chang, thank you for coming. We take unauthorized withdrawals seriously, but we appreciate your prompt action. Let's review the ATM transactions from March through May. She pointed to a spreadsheet. Each Saturday at 2 p.m., withdrawals ranged from $3,000 to $5,000, cash only. Claire, I withdrew the money. I'm so sorry. Mom? She didn't know. Ms. Chang raised an eyebrow. That's a substantial amount. As power of attorney, Sarah, you have full access. Why did Claire feel the need to withdraw funds instead of you? I inhaled. Mom has been anxious since her stroke. Claire wanted to pay bills discreetly to keep Mom calm. I glanced at Claire, who nodded miserably. Miss Chang, I understand the motivation, but policy requires all withdrawals over $1,000 to be approved by the account holder or power of attorney in writing. We can set up installment repayments up to $1,000 per month, plus a late fee waiver. Would that work? Claire's shoulders sagged. Yes, I'll do that. Ms. Chang, very well. We'll draft an agreement. You'll sign, and the funds will be automatically deducted from Claire's joint trustee account. Claire's eyes lit with hope. Thank you. Ms. Chang, also to prevent future issues, I recommend converting to a fixed annuity for Mom's savings. That way, only monthly distributions occur, and lump sums require board approval. I exchanged a look with Claire. This could protect Mom, but it also limited her access. I swallowed. Let's do it. That evening, I returned to the hospital with the signed agreement and proposals for Mom's financial future. Claire stayed behind to pick up the restitution plan from the bank. I stood at Mom's door. Me. Mom, can I sit with you? Her eyes opened. She smiled weakly. Sarah, sweetheart, how's everything? I perched on the edge of her bed. We're managing your finances. Claire and we signed an agreement today. Her brow furrowed. An agreement? Me. We found some large withdrawals I didn't know about. Claire, she made them, thinking she was helping. We're putting the money back. Mom's face drained of color. "Claire! Oh, God!" She blinked back tears. "Why?" I sighed. "Mom, you have plenty saved. Claire was scared, but it hurt you and us." She closed her eyes. "I'm proud of you both, for protecting me, for honesty." I reached over and squeezed her hand. "We want your future safe. We also proposed an annuity so large withdrawals aren't possible without oversight." Her eyes fluttered open. "Good. I trust you." Tears pooled in my eyes. "I love you, Mom," she whispered back. "I love you too." The next morning, Claire arrived at the hospital, clutching a bank-stamped repayment schedule. $1,000 automatically transferred each month from her trust account back into Mom's savings. She looked drained but determined. "Claire, I'm so sorry, Mom. Sarah." Mom's nurse bustled in. We stepped aside. I hugged Claire. "This is the first step. I know it's not easy, but we're doing the right thing." Claire nodded, shoulders quivering. "I want to make it right." Me. "We'll go to every appointment, set up monitoring, and make sure Mom's secure." She rubbed her eyes. "Thank you for not suing me." I forced a smile. Family handles things differently. Over the next week, we met with a financial advisor, set up the annuity, and mailed documentation to the bank. Claire attended every meeting, preparing to answer awkward questions. I watched her transform. Embarrassment gave way to resolve. One afternoon back at the bank, Miss Chang shook Claire's hand. "Thank you for your cooperation. A stronger oversight system is now in place, and your restitution plan is scheduled." Claire exhaled. "I feel lighter." Miss Chang smiled. "It's never too late to protect her legacy." Back at Mom's apartment, we returned her checkbook to the safe, now requiring 2 keys, mine and the trustee's. I taped a list of authorized transactions above the desk. Claire and I stepped back, surveying our work. Me. "How do you feel?" She brushed a tear. "Like we did something good." I hugged her. "We fixed this, together." Update 2. After putting the final signatures on Mom's annuity papers, Claire and I hoped the worst was behind us, but keeping family secrets buried is never easy. And our extended family was about to learn the hard way. 2 days after our bank meetings, I returned home from the hospital to find a black SUV parked in Mom's driveway. Aunt Marlene, Mom's eldest sister, stepped out, arms crossed and expression stern. Her tailored blazer looked at odds with the modest neighborhood. "Aunt Marlene, Sarah, Claire, may I come in?" I exchanged a glance with Claire. Of course. Inside the living room, Marlene sat on the edge of the sofa. Claire perched on the armchair, hugging her knees. I offered tea. Marlene declined. "Aunt Marlene." I received a call from the bank about withdrawals from Margaret's account. I'm on her power of attorney documents as backup. Why wasn't I informed? Claire's face paled. "Marlene, I'm sorry." "Aunt Marlene." "Don't." "Marlene, I'm sorry." Me. "You're dealing with thousands of dollars. Do you realize how irresponsible this looks?" My chest tightened. "Marlene, Claire is repaying every cent. We set up an annuity so nothing else can happen." Marlene's eyes narrowed. "An annuity? So Mom's trapped? She can't touch her own savings unless you approve." Me. "We did it to protect her. She had a stroke. She's vulnerable." Marlene stood. "You two acted without consulting the rest of us. If she wakes up and finds out you locked her funds away, she'll feel betrayed." Claire's lip quivered. "I thought I was doing the right thing." Marlene crossed her arms. "Your right thing nearly bankrupted her. I'll be speaking to the bank too." She retreated to the door, pausing. "Sarah, Grandmother left me a copy of her wills and trusts documents last year. You might want to review them. You're not the sole beneficiary." With that, Marlene swept out, leaving us in stunned silence. Confronting the will. Marlene's parting words gnawed at me. That evening, I dug out Mom's sealed file from her desk drawer. Inside was a letter from Grandma Parker outlining her estate plan, 50% to Mom, 25% to Marlene, and 25% split between Claire and me, only if we demonstrated prudence and unity in managing her legacy. If not, Marlene stood to receive up to 75%. My heart pounded. Grandma's condition was clear. Family unity mattered. Claire and I had breached that. I told Claire what I found. Me. Grandma didn't want one sibling controlling everything. Claire sank onto the couch. I never knew that. I swear I only wanted to help. Me. We need to set things right. With Marlene, with the board, with Grandma's wishes. Claire nodded, tears in her eyes. I'll do whatever it takes. The next morning, I called a family video conference. Mom's hospital bed loomed in the background. Marlene's vacant chair sat opposite. Claire and I shared a look of determination. Me. Aunt Marlene, thank you for joining. We learned about Grandma's wishes last night. We understand we violated the spirit of her trust. Marlene folded her arms. I'm listening. Me. Claire's withdrawals were misguided attempts to help Mom. We've set up a repayment schedule, converted the savings into a regulated annuity, and arranged joint keys so no one can act alone. Claire, voice trembling. I'm sorry. I never wanted to betray Grandma or Mom. I panicked. Marlene's gaze softened minutely. Your apology is a start. Me. We want to restore unity. We propose forming a sibling financial committee, Marlene, Claire, and me, with monthly meetings and consensus decisions. Marlene considered before nodding. That aligns with Grandma's intent. I'll withdraw my complaint to the bank if we formalize this, but any further secrecy, and I'll seek legal counsel. Claire exhaled. Thank you. I promise transparency from now on. Marlene. Good. Family only works if we trust each other. We closed the call, relief flooding the room. Rebuilding trust with documentation. Following the meeting, I drafted a written family agreement. Financial committee, Sarah, power of attorney, Claire, co-trustee, Marlene, alternate trustee, monthly reviews, all withdrawals and annuity distributions to be reviewed and signed by at least 2 members. Emergency protocol. Any urgent need for large funds requires unanimous consent. Non-urgent requests to be tabled for the next meeting. Claire and I drove to Marlene's house and presented the document. She read it carefully, then signed. Marlene, this is what Grandma wanted. Let's keep her vision alive. Claire beamed. Thank you, Marlene. And Claire, no more solo withdrawals, got it? Claire nodded vigorously. Yes, Aunt Marlene. Back at Mom's apartment, the committee held its first official meeting around the kitchen table. Claire updated us on the restitution progress. Marlene reviewed upcoming annuity distributions. I presented a schedule for future medical expenses. The air hummed with cautious but genuine collaboration. Later, Claire and I sat on the couch. She looked at me with gratitude. I'm sorry for dragging you into this mess. Me, you made a mistake. But you owned up to it, and we fixed it. She sighed. I feel like I've lost Grandma's trust. Me, you've regained it. Today's signatures prove that. We're all in this together. She smiled, relief shining through. Thank you, sis. Update 3. Mom opened her eyes that afternoon to find a warm breeze drifting through the window, carrying the faint scent of lavender from her garden. Dr. Harris stood nearby adjusting her IV, and I squeezed Mom's hand as Claire returned from the nurse's station. Me, softly. Hi, Mom. You're awake. Mom blinked slowly, then frowned. Where am I? Me. You're at Mercy Hospital. You had a stroke, but you're going to be okay. Her gaze shifted to the small table by the bed, where a thick envelope and a laminated sheet sat side by side. The sheet bore the heading, quote, Family Financial Oversight Committee Agreement. She lifted her head, alarm in her eyes. Mom, what is this? Claire stepped forward, voice trembling. Mom, when you were in a coma, I made some withdrawals to pay your bills. It was wrong. Sarah and Aunt Marlene and I set up this committee so nothing like that could happen again. We also converted your savings into an annuity to keep it safe. Mom's lips pressed into a thin line. She propped herself up on one elbow. A committee? I picked up the agreement and read aloud the first article. All major withdrawals require at least 2 committee members' signatures. Then I pointed to the signatures, Marlene's, Claire's, and mine, inked just days ago. Me. Grandma Parker wanted all her descendants to manage your legacy together. This is her vision. Mom's eyes filled with tears. My savings, she paused, voice wavering. I worked so hard for that nest egg. Claire knelt beside the bed. I'm sorry, Mom. I panicked when you were ill. I thought I was helping, but I was wrong. Mom looked at Claire, then at me. And you, Sarah, my eldest. She nodded at me. You stepped in. Me. We did this to protect you. Mom sighed. I'm glad you did it together. I don't want favors or secrets. Tears rolled down Claire's cheeks. Thank you for understanding. Mom offered a small, weary smile. I do understand fear. But family, united, is what matters. That evening, after the nurses tucked Mom in and the hospital room grew quiet, Claire and I sat at the small hospital table, 2 cups of lukewarm coffee between us. Her eyes were red, her shoulders slumped. Me. You okay? Claire hesitated, staring at her hands. There's something I haven't told you. My heart tightened. What is it? She took a shaky breath. I wasn't the only one panicking. Last year, I lost my job. I'd been covering rent and bills on credit cards, and the debt piled up. I was so ashamed. I didn't want anyone to know. When Mom fell ill, I saw her savings as a way out of my mess. I never thought I'd need that much, but I did. I processed this. Beneath Claire's panic lay desperation born of fear. Fear of failure, fear of shame, fear of letting everyone down. Me. Why didn't you tell me? She wiped her eyes. I was too embarrassed. I thought I could handle it on my own, until I couldn't. I reached across and took her hand. You're not alone. We're family. We could have asked for help. She bowed her head. I know, I'm sorry. Me. We'll fix this together. We'll find a way to pay off your debts and rebuild. Claire looked up, relief and gratitude mingling. Thank you. Over the next 2 days, Claire met with a financial counselor at the hospital's social services office. She handed over credit statements, explained her situation, and worked out a budget to pay down her debts. The counselor set up a manageable repayment plan, negotiated lower interest rates, and connected Claire with a job placement program. Meanwhile, Aunt Marlene and I accompanied Mom to a home visit appointment with the annuity provider. The financial advisor reinforced that only the committee could authorize distributions, ensuring Mom's comfort and security. Mom listened, nodding, her trust in the collective process restored. In the evenings, Claire spent hours entering budget figures on her laptop. I sat beside her, helping categorize expenses and cheering each milestone she met. First credit card balance down by half. Great job. Claire's transformation was remarkable. The shame that once drove her into secret became motivation to rebuild with integrity. 2 weeks later, back at Mom's apartment, now safe enough for her return, the 3 of us, Mom, Claire, and I, gathered around her kitchen table for our first official committee meeting in her presence. Mom, I want to thank you for protecting me and each other. I smiled. Your trust means everything. Claire looked at her mother, then at me. I'd like to propose a new tradition. Each year on Mom's birthday, we contribute a small amount to her account as a gift, so it grows, not just gets spent. Mom's eyes lit up. I love that idea. Mom, family, unity, sharing, your grandmother would have been proud. We drafted a brief amendment to our agreement, adding a birthday contribution clause. Each of us, Mom included, would deposit $500 yearly. As we signed, laughter replaced the tension that had once gripped us. The annuity, the repayments, the open meetings, all born from crisis, had evolved into rituals of love and accountability. Update 4. Just when our committee thought the worst was past, another storm hit. An email from a family lawyer titled Trust Dispute, Parker Estate. I opened it with trembling hands. Dear Ms. Reynolds, it has come to our attention that Mr. Edward Parker, your late grandmother's nephew, has filed a petition contesting the validity of the annuity conversion and the committee agreement. He claims undue influence, arguing that the annuity deprives beneficiaries of their rightful access. A hearing is scheduled in probate court in 2 weeks. Sincerely, Hastings & Cole LLP, attorneys at law. Edward Parker, the black sheep cousin who'd vanished after Grandma's funeral. His challenge threatened everything we'd rebuilt. Mom's security, Claire's restitution, and the fragile trust among us. The news hit us at Claire's apartment. The three of us, Mom in her wheelchair, Claire clutching her repayment schedule, and I, stood in the small living room, blinds drawn against the late afternoon sun. Mom, voice quiet, "Why now?" Me, "He says the annuity wasn't Grandma's original plan, and he has the legal right to contest." Claire, "He's just looking for money, like always." I took Mom's hand. "We have our committee agreement, Grandma's will, and clear documentation of every step we took with her blessing. We'll defend it." Mom nodded, determination glimmering in her eyes. "We will." We emailed Aunt Marlene, who responded within hours. "Count me in. Let's show Edward that family unity matters more than greed." Over the next week, we mobilized our documentation, Grandma Parker's original will, stipulating 25% each to Claire and me if we showed prudence and unity. The annuity contract, signed by Laura's attorney to protect Mom's assets. Committee agreement, signed by Marlene, Claire, and me, with detailed minutes from our first meeting. Restitution schedule, proof Claire has repaid the unauthorized withdrawals. Medical proxy documentation, establishing our legal authority during Mom's incapacity. We also visited Hastings and Cole to meet opposing counsel. Edward's lawyer, Mr. Baines, presented a thin argument that Mom's annuity conversion limited access and that the committee served only 3 members' interests. I felt my blood boil. Our actions had expanded oversight, not limited it. Mr. Baines, the court must ensure that beneficiaries can access their inheritance. An annuity without unfettered withdrawals risks violating probate norms. I took a steadying breath. The annuity is Grandma's expressed wish in her 2018 letter. Only monthly distributions. It prevents exploitation. Mr. Baines frowned, but offered no evidence beyond Edward's claim. We left feeling cautiously confident. On the morning of the hearing, the probate courtroom filled with anxious relatives. Edward sat beside Mr. Baines, arms crossed. Aunt Marlene, Claire, and I took the front bench. Mom watched from her wheelchair, flanked by her nurse. The judge, a stern woman with kind eyes, called the case. Edward's attorney went first, presenting Edward's declaration. The annuity conversion occurred under duress and without all beneficiaries' consent, he argued. My client requests that the court rescind the annuity and restore the liquid account. Next, our turn. Ms. Chang, the bank manager, testified about Grandma's request for stable distributions only. The financial advisor reinforced that Grandma feared large withdrawals would deplete her savings. Then I stood to speak. Me, Your Honor, the committee agreement and annuity conversion fully reflect Grandma Parker's intentions as corroborated by her 2018 letter. All beneficiaries, Claire and I, signed the agreement willingly, and restitution for unauthorized withdrawals is underway. We acted not out of self-interest, but to uphold Grandma's legacy and protect Mom's future. I handed the judge a cherry-picked binder containing every document. She flipped through pages, nodding. Judge, Ms. Reynolds, is there any evidence of coercion or fraud in the committee's formation? Me, none. All meetings were voluntary, minutes were recorded, and each step was witnessed by our financial advisor and the bank. The judge turned to Edward's attorney, then to Aunt Marlene. Judge, Ms. Parker, do you support the committee agreement? My aunt nodded firmly. Yes, Your Honor. I requested its formation to preserve family unity. Finally, Claire spoke, voice shaking but clear. Claire, I misused Mom's funds but have repaid every cent. My only wish is to honor Grandma's wishes and care for my mother. The courtroom fell silent. Even Edward looked unsettled. After recess, the judge returned. Judge, I have reviewed the will, the annuity contract, and the committee agreement. Absent any evidence of undue influence, I find the annuity conversion and oversight committee valid and enforceable. The petition to rescind is denied. A collective exhale swept through our side. Aunt Marlene grasped my hand. Claire's tears of relief shimmered under the courtroom lights. Edward slumped, defeated. Judge, the court commends the parties for their transparency and upholding family unity. This decision stands. Family triumph. Outside the courthouse, Photographers snapped a few congratulatory photos. This small victory felt monumental. We walked to a nearby cafe for celebratory coffee. Mom insisted on toasting with warm peppermint tea. "Mom, I'm so proud of you girls." Claire leaned in. "And of you, Mom, for trusting us." Aunt Marlene raised her cup. "To Grandma's legacy and to family unity." We clinked cups in radiant solidarity. This final showdown underscores how greed and family duty can clash, and how transparency, documentation, and togetherness can resolve even the fiercest disputes. From the hospital bedside to the courtroom bench, Sarah, Claire, and Aunt Marlene defended their mother's wishes and their grandmother's legacy against outside challenge.